Now, where are you from?
Born in Chicago, Illinois, but I'm from Arkansas, raised in Crossett, Arkansas. Shout out to my city. Moved down there when I was about 4, but half of my family is from Arkansas, half of them is from Chicago, so I spent a lot of time back and forth.
How often do you go back and forth?
I hadn't been back to Chicago in a few years, being that the last time I went, I ended up losing my stepdad, and like on that same trip, I was going to pick up my grandfather. He passed away too shortly after, and I was with my mom, and it was kind of an eerie feeling. So I hadn't been back, and I want to get back as soon as possible because I got a lot of family that they want me back to do shows or just be, you know, part of the events that they got going on. So I'm gonna get back soon. I just hadn't been back in a few years.
What was the reason for the initial move at 4 years old? Do you remember?
My mom and dad, you know, they split.
Oh.
You know, and she didn't want us to raise. She didn't really want to raise her kids in that type of impoverished environment because we was in the projects, and I mean, it was a lot going on. Like a kid that knew gang signs and all that before he even knew his ABCs. You know, me, my brothers, cousins, and stuff like that. So she just was trying to give us a better chance to, you know, as being black young men. You know, she didn't want us to be, you know, the statistic, especially with Chicago, because that's a serious city. You know, for real, for real.
The city of Arkansas that you're in, how do you pronounce it one more time?
Crossett.
Crossett. I never heard of that.
Well, now you did, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm here for, to put it on the map.
People aren't familiar with that either, but maybe they're familiar with, like, Little Rock.
Okay.
How far is that from Little Rock?
From Little Rock, it's 2 hours. It's considered the southeast part of Arkansas, which is like Pine Bluff. Like, I know y'all probably heard of UAPB. That's a prestigious black college in the South, and that's like that area. It's Pine Bluff and down, you know, that's the whole southeast, but the most famous city in the southeast is Pine Bluff, and that's about an hour away from Crossett, where I was raised.
I heard there's a lot of gangster activities, gang activities in Little Rock. In that city that you were in, Crossett,
right?
Was there gang activities there too?
Yeah, a lot of violent crimes, I just say. But I mean, that's probably the misconception of Arkansas. Like people think, oh, Arkansas just in the middle of nowhere, and oh man, ain't nothing to do there, ain't nothing going on there. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of interesting things that take place in Arkansas, especially where I'm from, where my people from. And Little Rock is a bigger city. Crossett is probably like I don't know, it's probably like a baby Little Rock or Pine Bluff as far as the activity, you know what I mean?
Was it easy to avoid gang activities or being, you know, influenced by them growing up, or was that hard?
It was kind of hard, but if you got the right mindset, it can become easy. Especially when you got a lot of family members that indulge in those activities. And a lot of people, see, I was young and I was extremely mature. So I always hung with my older cousins, you know what I'm saying? Probably like a 6, 7, 8 year difference. And sometimes I mean, I ain't gonna say that I'm peachy clean or whatever like that, but it's just about having a mindset. Some people get trapped in it, but I was fortunate not to be able to, or to be one of those people that got trapped in that. But yeah, I mean, it's going on around you all day, every day. So for most people that I know, most people that I grew up with, it was hard.
Let's say there's somebody watching this that's young, and they have that type of activity around them. It kind of similar to what you described, maybe some people in the family immersed in it, that sort of thing. If they're, any advice to a kid like that growing up? What do you tell a kid like that growing up?
I would say try your best not to be a follower. You know what I mean? Like, even if you indulge in some of the activities that are going on around you, don't let that become you. Don't let that define who you are. You know what I'm saying? Have your own mind and don't make that a permanent situation for yourself. You know, you kind of get in, get out. If it's for you, it's for you, but I don't know, like the end goal for some of the things that take place when you coming up in the hood, the end result ain't really good. So my advice to the youth, try to steer clear, keep your own mind, you know, don't give in to peer pressure, because, I mean, that could really, really, really break you if you let it, so.
Growing up in Crossett, what was that like? Can you paint the picture for us? What was your upbringing? All that type of stuff. Describe it.
Growing up in CRT, that's what we call it. I mean, it was interesting because it's the country, you know. It's definitely the country, but you had a lot of people that, I don't know, I guess since they travel to the city or their family, you know, they take vacations to the city with their family, they feel like, they know how city life is, so they try to pick up on some of the things. They go on, you know, in a fast-paced town. So, I mean, it's a country, but, I mean, it can be boring at times. So I think that probably caused a lot of the youth to steer the wrong way. But growing up for me, it was in a time period where we was actually outside. You know, you ran the streets, you had friends. It wasn't just all about social media and, you know, FaceTime and all that. You actually went up the block and kicked it, you know, clicked up, and y'all go play ball or y'all go, you know, chase girls or whatever the case may be. But I think the good thing about growing up in a small city, especially having so much family there, it keep you tightly knitted. You know, you actually know who all your relatives are. Y'all got each other back. And I mean, it kind of molds your imagination too. It, you know, make you aspire to go elsewhere, to go bigger and beyond.
Was it a rough upbringing?
Yeah, kind of, you know, with my mama being a single parent, 4 brothers growing up. I got 2 older sisters, so my mama got 6 kids, but they was already, you know, halfway out the house by the time we moved down. And I mean, I think for any single parent, especially a single mom that's trying to struggle with no support from the old man, from the, you know, sperm donor, it could be real rough. And then, see, she had vices of herself too. You know, she was in the streets as well. You know, mom she was an OG, and she had a lot of demons. You know, so I guess it was kind of rough because we was exposed to a lot early, a lot of different things early on. So.
Anything you can describe?
Yeah, I mean, like, knowing the dope dealers and all that firsthand, first name basis. They knew who he was. They knew who our mama was, because, you know, she had a lot of that going on. So, I mean, but they looked out though. They looked out. They was if they seen us coming, like, they like, yeah, that's such and such little boy, man. Y'all, you know, y'all look out for him when he come through here. When they come through here, everything good. But we seen a lot of, I don't know, a lot of crimes going on. I don't really want to get too far into details on that, but I mean.
What was your roughest moment growing up?
I guess I got 2. I got a 2-way answer. Seeing my mama struggle with abuse, because, like I say, it was kind of like she was young, she had kids, and she was still growing up too. So she dealt with abuse.
Physical abuse.
Physical abuse. And she dealt with substance abuse too. And like, being a little small kid and you watching your mom, you know, fight off this nigga, you know what I'm saying, that, like, I mean, you can only do so much. I mean, I tried, my brother tried, but, I mean, we was kids, so we could only do so much. But I think that was some of the scariest times, because it was times that I thought, and I was always watching TV, you know what I'm saying? I would see things like, I don't know, a movie that stand out to me is Losing Isaiah, because it was times where I felt like we was gonna get taken from our mom because of everything that she had going on, and then abuse, and it was just like kind of crazy. It was all over the place. So that was some of the scariest times because I would think, like, what if I wake up, you know, and my mom dead, you know what I'm saying, or she gone, or she, you know, hurt too bad, like.
And that's your only parent?
Yeah, I mean, I got a father too, you know what I mean, but he wasn't in my life, so, like that, so, I don't know, it was just, those were scary times because that was the head honcho, you know what I mean, the leader of the clan, and if anything happened to her, we were just gonna be basically assed out, you know what I'm saying. My grandma was there too, but I mean, it's I don't know, it's just, it was a lot going on, so. And then another time, another scariest moment coming up, I ended up making a trip back to Chicago, and, you know, I think it was two of my cousins, well, me and three of my other cousins, but two of them was staying in Chicago at the time. They had been there. So they was showing us one of their new houses in a new neighborhood or whatever. And we ended up going through the wrong neighborhood to get there, and we got ran up on by some gang members, and they end up, I mean, because one of my cousins ended up having on the wrong color, and they ended up pulling like a piece out, and was asking us what set we claim and all that, and that was just something foreign to us because in my city, in Crossett, like, we know all the gangsters, you know what I'm saying? We know all the gang members, we know all the dope dealers, everybody on, you know, kind of first name basis, and they just kind of, they cool, you know what I mean? If you neutral especially. But up there, off turf, I was born there, but I wasn't raised there, so that could be, man, I thought we was finna get it, but luckily, some other people from the neighborhood that we was in kind of came and diffused the situation before they could, you know, get anything off, like any shots or anything like that off, you know, so. But that was another scary moment.
I want to break your situation with your mother down a little bit. As you're describing it, I am picturing scenes from different movies I've seen. You know, when you talk about the physical abuse,
right,
domestic abuse.
Right.
And when I watch a movie, even though I haven't personally gone through those feelings or emotions, because I've never seen that before,
right,
watching it in movies, it's a scary thing to watch.
Yeah.
My heart's racing when I see a movie and, you know, two actors are going at it, and, you know, you believe those characters and you get immersed into a movie.
Right.
So having it in real life and the parent being your biological parent.
Right.
It's got to even be a scarier feeling.
Yeah, I think that's probably the scariest, like, because you get to thinking, especially me, I was an advanced thinker, so I would be thinking about, like, I would think the worst, hope for the best, and the worst would hit me like, man, like, what I'm gonna do, you know what I mean? I got an older brother, but, I mean, I felt like I was the one to kind of keep us, or try to keep everybody in line, because I had more of a focus. And I would be fearful of having to be that man of the house, you know, and I mean, and have to just really, really go in and just take care of everybody at an early age, you know, because like I said, my sisters and them, they was old, and they, you know, they really contributed a lot to my existence, my upbringing and everything like that, but they were going on to find their way, you know, their own life. I mean, growing up, getting married and stuff like that, having kids and doing their own things, so we would be at home and still have to deal with mama, you know, back and forth with these, I don't know, tumultuous relationships, you know what I mean? And that was man, yeah, that was scary, because it was like, if you watching a movie, you know at some point the movie gonna go off, the director yells cut, they go back home to their happy life, but when it's in real life, it's like you see it in person, you go to sleep and you have nightmares about it. And I mean, that's just, yeah, it was stressful.
Somebody watching this, maybe they're in a similar situation, seeing this stuff happening too.
Right.
What's the advice there?
Pray. I mean, to whatever you believe in. If it's somebody, if it's a higher power that you believe in, pray to, you know, to him, her, whatever, you know, however you whatever, you know what I mean? But have a strong faith. Have a strong faith because, I mean, that's the only way that I got through it. Having faith, believing that it was going to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, a lot of prayer, a lot of strength, a lot of prayer for strength.
Looking back, was there anything that you could have done or that could have been done in those situations to stop those situations from happening? I mean, your mother's an adult, so she's making adult decisions.
Right.
But as a kid, you're watching this stuff.
Right.
I mean, hindsight 2020, was there anything besides prayer that could be in strength?
I mean, I did. Me, my brother, like we did everything we thought that could be done. You know what I mean? First is like we not. I mean, in school they train you. Hey, if it's violent, if something going on, you call 911. But a lot of times 911 don't come. You know what I mean? Right away or soon enough. So we just go to instinct and we just start fighting, swinging, picking up objects, trying to fight that, that beast off of my mama because at the time you're a child, that's what go through your mind, like just survive, make sure that she survive. And I don't know, I mean, but other than prayer, other than trying to fight back, other than, calling 911. I mean, we had uncles too, but they was into certain things. I have a certain uncle though, he kind of, I call him Uncle T-Bone, you know what I mean? He was there during a lot of those times because he was all my other uncles too. I love them and they was guidance, in our life, but he was kind of the one that was in the streets and he was, right there where it was going on because a lot of stuff that my mama had going on, he had going on too. Like they was like that. So being the oldest siblings out of them, so he would be there. And I done seen him stand up and I done seen him whoop a couple of my mama boyfriends, you know what I'm saying, or old boyfriend, ex-boyfriends or whatever from back in the Gap. And I mean, he was just that rock, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of like a hero, a superhero, from the hood. But yeah, he was a big help too. And me seeing him go through his changes and him becoming the man that he has become, that's inspiring.
Fighting back as a kid could be dangerous.
True.
And then reporting it to the police. I mean, there could be times where I don't know, where maybe DFACS comes in and maybe they got to step in if it's too much going on.
Right. See, that was another one of the fears that I spoke on, like, them coming in and taking us from,
your mother.
Mom. Yeah. So, and it was times that they tried. At certain times, they tried early on. Like we talking like first grade, second grade, kindergarten area. But I mean, I don't know. It take a village. So she had some good friends that really supported her. Supported the children, that she had. Like I said, my big sisters, they came in, they did a lot too. And my grandma as well, So we had a support system, but, the biggest thing was my mama trying to, her getting herself together. And she obviously did, eventually.
Now, you also mentioned substance abuse.
Right.
Drug abuse.
Mm-hmm.
What drug?
Crack cocaine. Hell of a drug.
Was she able to stop the abuse at some point?
Yeah, she definitely did.
Do you know how? Was it just like a cold turkey thing? Was it family and friends intervening? Was it a rehab? How was she able to escape that path? Family
and friends tried to intervene, and that worked for moments and spurts at a time. But when she woke up and made the decision to just cut it out, like she did that, you know what I'm saying? That's like one of the most inspiring things I've seen in my life because she didn't go to a rehab. She tried that before, but she tried that when she got in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Like she got caught up on some, whatever, and she had to go. It was kind of court ordered, but like when she made the decision to be done with it, she got done with it. And she went on to, get degrees, you know what I mean? So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
College degree.
Right. She got a couple of degrees, and in the process, before she even went to college, she ended up getting a cosmetology license. At one point in time, she had her own business. You know, she was employing people in a beauty shop, and but just seeing that journey that she went on, she let me know how powerful she is and how powerful God is, because it's 180. A lot of people say 360, but 360s you turn right back into the same direction. But it's a 180. She went back, the positive way, and she did it herself. I mean, like I said, we supported it. We was cheering her on, and of course happy that she made that turnaround, because she's such a beautiful woman, and she's like the most positive person in the world. Like literally the most positive. Like the house could be caving in on us literally, like as we speaking, and she'll be like, "Nah, we're gonna be all right. Something gonna block us, shield us from the tornado or whatever." That's just the type of person that she is. So yeah, she got through that substance abuse. I mean, coming up, late 80s, early 90s, that was one of the biggest vices for a lot of, not only single mothers, but black, I'd just say just a lot of black people in my community.
How long do you think she's been clean for?
From
that drug?
From that.
10, 15?
Nah, it's more closer to 20 years. Close to that. It's 2017, so yeah.
The way you describe the situation, and again, I don't have too much personal experience with drug abuse, but it almost seems, the way you described it, it almost seems that a person only self-willing to handle this can beat this versus a court-ordered or court-summoned or forced situation.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt. I mean, that's with anybody. If you think about it, like people that even go to prison or jail, like some of them quit whatever vices that they have, whatever drug abuse that they, choose to indulge in. They quit for that time period. And a lot of them don't even quit because they can still get it while they're in there. A lot of my cousins and, niggas that I knew and grew up with, like, they were still able to get hooked to it. But most of the time, like, that's just temporary. You know what I mean? As soon as they get out, they dreaming about the time when they get out, they gonna turn up, they gonna, get lit, whatever. But for a person that's really, for it to have the biggest effect, it has to be, from the person. The person got to want to do that. And that's how my mama explained to me. That's how, my uncle, one of my uncles, the one that I mentioned, Uncle T-Bone, he had to go through that journey as well. And when he made his mind up, my mama made her mind up, and he made his mind up to be done with it, they was done with it forever. Like, I mean, and it had to be them, because every time we wished and begged and prayed for them, and the other family members would beg and pray for them to get away from it, it would be temporary, and they would come back to it.
What do you say to a kid in that situation? Any advice there? Somebody watching this stuff going on, parent doing substance drug abuse?
I think sometimes it helps instead of like pointing the finger or telling them what they're doing, how it's affecting you, as the individual watching it. Sometimes it helps to ask them, like, what's your reasoning for partaking in this, you know what I mean? And or even how they even got introduced. Some people, it's sad to say, but some people get introduced through, extremely bad situations. Like a person may, hypothetically speaking, out there, a person may go and get raped and then they turn to drugs, or a person may, go and get robbed for everything, you know what I mean? And they turn to, whatever can make them escape, you know what I mean? And so sometimes it helps to try to ask them, questions about it and why, they chose to, or however they got involved in the first place. Get an understanding from them. And when you get an understanding from them, then you can start to figure out how you can help them. You know, some people get high because they're in pain, and they're in pain for, you know, maybe they're going through emotional stuff. Maybe they got a heartbreak. You know what I mean? Maybe they got a medical issue. You know what I'm saying? I think it helps to try to understand why. You know, ask them why. Why do they think they partake in it? And when you do, you can kind of, you know, start trying to come up with a solution with, you know, help them come up with a solution. Don't try to be the solution for them. Don't try to tell them what you think they should do, because that really 90% of the time never works.
What's the relationship with your biological father now? Good terms or bad terms or what?
Yeah, I mean,
no terms?
No terms, really. Like, I ain't gonna say it's like extremely bad, but there's not a relationship there. And, you know, me being grown now, I talk to different people, you know, and I want us to have a relationship at some point, but it's just like when you look back on so much absence, you know what I mean? Like, at everything that I, you know, went through in my life, a part of you kind of boil on the inside. You know, like, how could a person not wanna, you know, be involved? I ain't talking about financially or nothing like that. Like, I'm just saying, like, just wanna, you know, call on a regular, or, you know, figure out a way to link up. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe we come for the summer, or maybe you come down for a weekend or something like that, because he was always in Chicago, most of my upbringing, and my brothers too, upbringing. So it's like, I ain't gonna say it's not bad, it's just not a relationship. You know, maybe, you know, we'll get to that point someday soon, hopefully, because I wouldn't want him to leave this earth without us having a real sit down. And I think because of that, I hadn't even, he just recently had this crazy, he had a son, my little brother. I hadn't met him yet at this point, and he has my same birthday. So, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, because I think me and him not having a relationship is one of the main reasons why I don't, you know, have a relationship with my baby brother. You know, that I had never even met him, but I know they'll be watching this, so, you know, I'll do what I can to reach out and try to mend that relationship or those bridges or whatever. But it's a two-way street, and I guess I gotta forgive and kind of let all of that go, which I have forgiven, you know, him, but I kind of just gotta, I don't know, I guess I gotta work on me and get into that space to where I'm able to, you know, further a relationship with him. But yeah, it's not now, right now.